Hi everyone, this is Soumyadi Paul, a mentor at CodeKerdos and a software developer at Amazon. And I welcome all of you to day 19 of our DSA series. Now in the previous video of our DSA series, we saw what are strings and how are they actually stored in the memory in Java. Now in today's video, we'll be learning about some really important practical utility methods. Functions that are inbuilt inside the strings class in Java. Now, if you remember, we saw that string is a non-primitive data type. It is not a primitive data type. So there is a class string which creates objects for string. But now you might be thinking, hey, if string is an object, how can we create strings so easily by just saying string s is equal to hello world? Usually when we create objects, we use the keyword new, call some constructor and blah blah. A little bit of hard work is there, isn't it? But actually, since creation of strings are such a common phenomenon in any programming language, in any purpose, in any task you perform through coding, the Java developers actually gave us a shortcut for this. That we can use this directly instead of calling the new keyword. Now we can also call the new keyword and that will create a string with some different attributes. And that is something we'll cover in the next video of our DSA series. But in today's video, I want to show you some really important functions, some really important methods that are already present inside the string class in Java for us to be used. Okay, so we'll be using them. So let us go through those functions one by one. The very first function is the length function. Okay, let me write down the functions here. So what are we covering today? We are covering string utility methods. Okay, utility functions. Okay, string utility methods, functions. The first one is length function. Now this returns the length of the function. Now, this returns the length of the string. So suppose I want to do system.out.println, I'll say s.length and I'll call it as a function. So it will print the length, which is the number of characters present in the string. Okay, so what does this do? This returns the number of characters of the string. This is what it does. Okay. Number of characters of the string. Okay, this is what it returns. Now after this, after length, we have something called as a charAt. Okay, and this takes an index I. So this returns the character. The previous function returns the number of characters of the string. Now this charAt method, this returns the character at the ith index. Okay, at the ith index. This returns the character at the ith index. So suppose I have hello world as a string. Just like arrays or just like strings in any other programming language, even in Java, we have it as zero-based indexing. So this h is in the 0th index, 1st index, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Okay, there are total 11 characters from 0 to 10th index. So if I say something like system.out.println s.charAt say 2, then what character is present at the 2nd index? What character is present? The character is present is L in 2nd index. So here this should print L. Why is it taking so much of time? Okay, this is a bit weird. Just a second. Let me refresh this page once. Yeah, let me run it. Okay, it's a little weird. It's taking a lot of time here. What happened? Let me use some other stuff. Instead of one compiler, maybe I can use the programmers.com. Okay. Maybe this this will give the output quickly. What happened? None of these items are giving the output quickly. Oh yeah, yes. See, 11 and here L. If I make it 4, then you see the output will come out to be 11, which is the length, and then O. O is the 4th character now. Okay, so this is how this works. Okay, this is how the .charAt method works. Now after the charAt method, we have more methods. We have something called as the substring method. Okay, the substring method. The substring can be used in two different variations. If I just give one index, what happened? This is weird. Okay, I guess my internet connectivity is down. Just a second. Let me quickly switch to my mobile hotspot. Okay, that is why this was not working properly. My internet connectivity might be a bit slow. I'm not sure what happened. The Wi-Fi seems to be working. Okay. Okay, let's try now. Let's see if it loads right now or not. Okay, what happened? Yeah, okay. So now we have the substring method. Now substring takes two variations. First is the substring will take one index, okay? And if you pass just one index, then what it does is it returns the string, from the ith index to the end. From the ith index to the end. Okay. This is what it does. And there is another variation. If you say substring and if you say I to j, then it returns the string from ith index to jth index. Okay. But there is one tiny little thing you must remember, that ith character is included. But jth character is not included. Okay. So here, if I say, so let's take this example here. Yeah, now it is working fine. And now, suppose I take this example and say s dot substring and I give it 2. So then you see the output will be LLO then world. You see, so it is returning me the string from the second character till the end. Okay, but now suppose I do s dot substring 227. Okay, so then it will return me the string from the second index till the 7th indexed, but the 7th character will not be included. So W should be the 6th character. So if you see here, yes, W is the 6th character. Okay, So this is how substring works. Now after substring, we have something called as the contains. Okay. Contains. Now contains returns Boolean, returns true if the substring is present in the string. Or I'll pass a string here if I'll say returns true if S is inside the string. Okay, inside the string. If it contains it. So for example, here I can say S dot contains, and I'll give LLO. So you see, in hello world, we do have LLO. Yes. So this string S does contain LLO. So if I run this, it should give me true. See? But if I say LLP, it does not contain LLP. So if I run this, it should give me false. See? Working perfectly fine. Okay. So this is what contains does. Given a string and a substring, it helps you to check. Suppose there are two strings, S1 and S2, and you want to check whether S2 is present inside S1, then the contains method helps you to check that. Okay. After contains, you have something called as the startsWith. Okay. So startsWith. And as the name suggests, this also takes the input as a string and returns true, or basically checks if the given string starts with S. If the given string starts with S. Okay. And similarly, we have something called as the endsWith. EndsWith also takes a string, and this checks if the given string ends with S. Okay. So let's test it out quickly. Suppose I again say S dot starts with, suppose I say HEL. Now obviously my string hello world does start with HEL. So this should be correct. Yes, true. It also starts with HE. So this should also be correct. Yes, true. But if I say HO, then it does not start with HO. So it will give me false. Okay. Similarly, if I say S dot ends with, and if I give ELD, so it does not end with ELD, it ends with RLD, so it will give me false. You see? Yes. But if I say RLD, then it will give me true. You see? Perfect. Working perfectly fine. Okay. There are some more methods. So after this, we have something called as the toUpperCase. So the name itself suggests that what it does is it converts the entire string. Into uppercase. Okay. It converts the entire string into uppercase. And similarly, we have something called as, you might have guessed it right, yes, toLowerCase. And this converts the entire string, entire string to uppercase. And here it converts the entire string to lowercase. Okay. So we can test this out as well. Suppose I have a string which is mixed. Okay. Let's say HE, and here also I'll say WOR capital. Okay. Okay. So now if I say S dot toUpperCase and I print it. So this will, what it will do is, it will basically convert S into a new string where each character will be in its uppercase and then return that string. You can either print it or you can either store it in a different variable. And you see few characters H, W, O were already in capital letters. It was already in uppercase, so they didn't get changed. Okay, obviously. Okay. Similarly, I can either also say S dot toLowerCase. Okay, and if I do this, then the entire string gets converted into lowercase. Okay. This majority of the characters E, L, L, O, R, L, D were already in lowercase. The only three characters which were not in lowercase were H and W, O. And now they are also in lowercase. So the entire string is now converted into lowercase. Okay. Then we have something called as trim method. Okay. We have something trim. So what it does is it trims any spaces on the start and end of the string, on the start and end of the string, and end of the string. Okay, on the start and end of the string. So suppose my string is something like this. S is equal to, there are a bunch of spaces, then hello, then bunch of spaces, then world, and then a bunch of spaces. Okay. So here, if I say s.trim, you see, oh sorry, I missed a semicolon, my bad. It will print hello world. So you see the spaces in between are still there, but the spaces after it and the spaces below it are completely gone. I can also just print S and show you. You see, initially in S, the spaces before it and the spaces after it were present. You see, one space is there. But here there are no spaces right now. So that is what trim does. It removes the spaces towards the beginning of your string and towards the end of your string. Okay. Then we have something called as replace. So what replace helps us to do is, it takes one string and it replaces to another string. So replaces the very first occurrence of S1 into S2. Okay. So for example, there are multiple times hello present. Okay. So what I can do is, I can print s.replace and I can say hello, replace this to the reverse. Okay, ole. So let's see. You see, now you have ole world instead of hello. Okay, so the hello got replaced by this new string. And okay, sorry, my bad. It doesn't just replace the first occurrence. But it replaces all occurrence. Okay, it replaces all occurrences of S1 into S2. Okay. So you see here, there are 2 times hello present and both of those hellos are replaced into ole. Okay. This is what replace does. And then after replace, we have something called as split. Okay. Split. And you pass some string here. So it splits the string, splits the given string across all occurrences of S and returns an array. Okay. So for example, here what we'll do is, suppose I'll have S as ABC, 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 ABC. Okay. Now I'll say S dot split and split it across C. Okay. So now you see, it returns me, yes, it will return me an array. But since arrays are objects, it returns me the address of the object. Okay. So don't worry, when we cover arrays, we will again see how we can print this array and see. But for now, trust me, what it will return is, if I have ABC, ABC, ABC 4 times, if I have something like ABC, 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 ABC 4 times, then, and if I say this is S, and if I say S dot split and split it across C, then what it will do is it will split it across C. This is one split, this is one split, this is one split, and this is one split. So I'll have AB, 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 and AB. So it will return me an array of size 4 and having AB string in all the places. Okay. But don't worry, we'll cover this when we come back to arrays. Okay. Then after split, and the split is a very easy way, a very easy and frequent way, a very easy way to convert a string, which is a sentence, into an array of words, into an array of words. And all we need to do is, suppose you have a sentence, you can say s dot split, and you'll pass on empty space here. Okay, this will be space. Okay. Okay. Then we have something called as indexOf. Okay. So this returns me the index, first index of, it returns me the index, of the first occurrence of S. Okay. If S is not present, it returns -1. If S is not present, it returns -1. And then I have lastIndexOf. Okay. Again, indexOf returns the index of the first occurrence. This lastIndexOf returns the index of the last occurrence of S. Okay. Last occurrence of S. And this also returns -1 if S is not present. So let us quickly test it out. Suppose I'll say system.out.println s.indexOf C. Okay. I'll pass C as a string. Suppose I run this. You see 2. But if I say s.lastIndexOf and I pass the same C, you see I will get the index of the last C, which is 11. Okay. So you see, if you see here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. So the very last C is present at the 11th index. Okay. So these are all the 13 inbuilt functions, very, very useful inbuilt functions in Java. Okay, so I hope these things are clear, and if you want to learn these concepts and want to do a lot more questions around these concepts and prepare for your Mang interviews straight from the developers at Mang itself, then do join CodeKerdos, and I'll see you all in the next video of our DSA series.